What's up, y'all? Empresario here, back at you once again in another video. I hope all is well with you today. In this video, let's discuss how your circle got real slim when you chose God over toxicity. Your circle has been dissolving by the minute. At one time, you may have had a big circle of people around, family and friends all the time, but now things have changed. And even if you are someone who has always had a small circle, right about now, it's even smaller. You may have had to end certain relationships with people that you would have never imagined. If you were guided to this channel, and you were guided to specifically watch this video out of all the videos on my channel, without even knowing you, I'm pretty sure you had to do this more than once. Oh yes, it's been multiple people. So many things have changed in your life with certain people. Things have changed so much that it doesn't even seem like it's a circle anymore. Many of them were cool with you until you decided to choose a different path for yourself. When you choose a different path, you begin to naturally show up different in the world. That's why your circle looking real thin these days, because almost everyone in your circle has started to show you their true colors. They have started to show you their true feelings and their true intentions for you. But you like connections with people that make sense. And many of the connections you have with people stop making sense. And that's why it was harder and harder for you to remain in these connections with certain people. You keep finding out things about different people in your circle that destroys the relationship between you and them. Or there's been certain things that been going on that you're just sick and tired of. Continuing to deal with the toxicity may have been too much for you, so you stopped dealing with it. You cut ties with certain people even if it was hard and even if you didn't want to, because you couldn't comprehend the deceit. You couldn't comprehend the betrayal, the mistreatment. You couldn't understand how certain people in your circle would do this to you. Now your circle looking real slim, and it seems like it's getting smaller and smaller. Slimming your circle down was a lot of God's doing to help you and protect you. And see, when you get closer to God, you begin to take on a whole different mindset because things happen between you and God. God chose you first. And then you had to make the conscious decision on your own to choose God too. And you did. You chose God. And when you chose God, it seemed like you fell out with everybody else. But you're tapped in with God now. And the more you are connected to God, the more He protects you. This is why when you chose God, all of a sudden, certain things start being revealed to you left and right about certain people in your circle. God flipped the whole table over just to reveal certain things to you. Now people are dropping out of your life like flies, and not necessarily because they're dead. Most of them are still alive. It's more so because you had a lot of people who traded on you and you've had to distance yourself. You discover that many of the people you were surrounded by were the wrong people to be surrounded by. It's not like you were expecting perfection out of anyone. They didn't have to be perfect. They just had to not betray you. You just expected them to be real and true, but they weren't. So you had to learn how to detach yourself. You get judged for this. You get so heavily judged just for not being associated with certain people. Because there are some toxic people who believe you should remain attached to them in some way. Even if it sacrifices your peace, your sanity, even your safety. But you shouldn't have to sacrifice those things just to have certain people around you. Having to choose yourself and God over and over again, and having to accept having a smaller circle if you are someone who once had a big circle, that is a hard realization to swallow, especially if many of these situations are still weighing heavily on your mind. But as you continue to get closer to God, you will find yourself being more and more okay with having a smaller circle. After certain things happen with people, God puts you through healing. But sometimes the healing process God puts you through can be kind of confusing because one day you might wake up and feel happy and healed from the things you've experienced. And then the next day, you might wake up and feel like you're right back at square one emotionally. You might find yourself angry all over again. You might even start crying and everything. But this doesn't mean you're not healing. And it doesn't mean you haven't made any progress. This is actually all a part of the process. This is why it's so important to be patient with yourself, as this process does take time. When these dreadful thoughts and emotions resurface, it just means that you're still healing from that situation. But see, this is why God upped the standards for the people who can be in your circle, because He only wants like minded, trustworthy people around you, not people you have to heal from. That's why your circle may be small, it may be thin, but it's strong though because God is included. They wanted you to stay in those toxic cycles with them, but God said no because He's elevating you. Another one of the main reasons your circle has gotten a lot smaller is because of the light you embody. It's increased, it's intensified, and it may have become a challenge for some people to continue being around you. Same for you though, because you went from just dealing with toxicity to not tolerating it at all. They view you as kind of cutthroat with it, but that's only because it was harder and harder for you to be around them too. Now your circle is super small because that was almost all your connections. This is not what you intended. You never intended for things to be this way. It's certainly not what you wanted, but that's how things wound up playing out, which isn't your fault. And you might see other people with large circles, but no need to feel envious about it. No need to feel left out, because having a small circle isn't bad if that's what's best for your peace. Some people you see in large circles haven't yet discovered that some of the people in their circle is betraying them. Okay, they just don't know about it yet. And then other people you might see in large circles, they just need people around. There's a lot of toxicity going on in their circle that they know about and they allow it. But they need these other people around so that they can feel complete. They want to feel important. They want to feel included. Some people care more about fitting in. But you're probably someone who chooses quality over quantity every time. You would much rather have a smaller, solid circle than have a large, fake, and toxic circle. Some people feel so alone when they have a small circle. But no matter how small your circle ever gets, you're never alone because you always have a friend in God. For a personal one-on-one session with me or to donate to me in the channel, all that information will be down below in the description box. Thank you so much for watching. Be sure to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll be back soon. Peace.